Tony Blair's government accused Israel of letting its troops run out of control during a military incursion into the West Bank in 2002. That's according to the release of official documents from the National Archives in Kew in West London. The papers show the exasperation of Western allies at the mounting Palestinian death toll at the hands of Israeli forces as they laid siege to the headquarters of the then Palestinian leader, Yasser Arafat. In one particularly heated meeting, the British ambassador in Tel Aviv told an Israel advisor that the IDF's conduct was more worthy of the Russian army than that of a supposedly civilized country. The documents delve into a time during Operation Defensive Shield, an Israeli military campaign at the end of March in 2002, when Ariel Sharon was the Prime Minister of Israel. The operation called for 20,000 Israeli reservists after a spate of suicide attacks that fatally injured Israeli citizens. IDF tanks surrounded Palestinian leader Mr. Arafat's compound in Ramallah, a city in the West Bank, and cut off power supplies as street-to-street fighting occurred for more than a week in a nearby refugee camp. US President George W. Bush complained privately to Mr. Blair at the time, these documents reveal, that the Israeli Prime Minister's actions were turning Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat into a martyr, similar to al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden following the September 11 attacks in the US. The documents reveal Israel being accused of fighting a 21st century war with 20th century strategies, sending tanks down alleyways. One British officer, which the documents did not name, but who observed IDF tactics prior to Operation Defensive Shield, labelled the IDF a second-rate, ill-disciplined, swaggering and bullying force, saying its reputation as a competent and effective force was far from reality. The unnamed British officer said there were well-documented instances of IDF soldier misbehaviour, but little was ever done to hold them accountable, except in instances that resulted in the death of other IDF soldiers. The documents outline that this officer said the Israel Defense Force looks down on the Arabs and despises them. It also needs to be said that the average Israeli does not value an Arab life as equal to a Jewish one. The release of these official documents has many drawing parallels between the IDF's actions in the West Bank in 2002 with current events between the IDF and its military operations in Gaza. The Public Records Act requires central government departments in the UK to identify records of historical value and transfer them to the National Archives by the time they are 30 years old. More recently, the government and the National Archives, located in West London, are gradually reducing the 30-year deadline and phasing in a 20-year deadline to release official historic government documents.